Hi, this is Rick Slaughter, Charmer Sunbelt Group's Vice President of Business Development for BrownForman. I have an opportunity today to speak to our Chief Operating Officer, Baird. Greg, can you tell us a little about the special relationship that we have with BrownForman?
That's a good question, Rick. It really is a special relationship. Forget the fact that it goes back 40 or 50 years. It's more along the lines of how we are aligned as companies and the way we think. I say we're aligned, we're literally and figuratively aligned. We do business with BrownForman in every single market that we operate in, so from a literal point of view, we are aligned, and that includes BrownForman coming to us relatively recently in Colorado and Delaware as part of the alliance alignment, so it made a big commitment to us. And of course, we think alike. They are a public company that thinks like a private company. They have a great long-term vision of the business like we think we do. They make long-term decisions. And we're kindred spirits with BrownForman, to be quite honest with you. We don't have a relationship like this with any other supplier.
What do you make of the current craft whiskey boom and its effect on the North American whiskey business?
Well, I think the craft whiskey, call it a boom, call it whatever you want. I think it's very positive overall because it screams two things to consumers. It screams authentic and it screams brown goods. And you just talked about, when you say those two words, you're talking about Jack Daniel's. For crying out loud, this is the original craft whiskey. So they're bringing a lot of attention to a category, the brown goods category. They're bringing attention to authentic and crafty. And you can tell the story as we should be with Jack Daniel's. They're still making Jack Daniel's the same way today that they made it the day it was founded. And if you talk about craft, all anybody has to do is go down to Lynchburg, Tennessee and see that place, and it's craft defined. So I think it's a great benefit for the Jack Daniel's brand to have all this attention being paid to this category.
Greg, in your view, what sets Jack Daniel's apart from other North American whiskey brands? And how can our managers and sales reps leverage that information to grow incremental revenue and share of market?
Well, they're very fortunate in that this brand is one of the most iconic brands in the world, not just in the wine and spirits business. If you look at all the marketing studies that look at those kinds of things, what brands do people recognize? Jack Daniel's is right up there with Mercedes-Benz, BMW, any other super brand you want to talk about. So that really plays well into what we're trying to do here. It gives us an opportunity to sell something that crosses every consumer portfolio. This brand touches everybody. And to have the ability to sell an iconic brand like that, we're very lucky that we're able to do that. And we should be taking advantage of that every place we can.
When you heard Mike Keyes challenge the United States to sell 5 million cases of Jack Daniel's in FY15, what was your first reaction?
That happened about 3 months ago. We were in a top-to-top meeting in Louisville, actually, and he brought that topic up. And you know what? I'm excited about it. I mean, he walked us through the plan. This is a big brand, obviously, and to get to 5 million cases in the U.S., it's about a 4% growth rate. And we looked at how they built the plan, and it makes a lot of sense. I'm not terribly intimidated by it. Is it easy? Of course it's not easy, but nothing that special is easy. So I think we should all be energized about it. I think it's a great plan. It's as BrownForman likes to call them, it's a BHAG goal. It's a very aggressive goal, but it's not out of the realm of possibility. So I'm very excited about it.
What are the most important components of our success in getting to a 4.1% increase?
I think it's telling the story. You've got a brand here that, like I said earlier, touches every consumer portfolio that's out there. We need to tell that craft story. We need to weave that into every time we talk about this brand because there's no other brand like it in the world. So if we can do that in every single account, with every single customer we deal with, and if we can turn those customers into our evangelists, this will happen. This is a brand that people, and I hate to say this, have a tendency to take for granted because it's delivered for them for so long, customers and our own people as well. So, we tend to forget maybe some of the areas that we know the brand sells in, but we don't pay that much attention to. We need to focus on all of those areas. We need to focus on every single customer. Every time we're in an account, everybody that touches this brand, from house president down through merchandiser, should be thinking about how can I make this brand better in this account today? And if we do that, we'll be successful.
I'm sure you've heard about many of the programs that we're running locally. Is there anything that stands out in your mind as particularly successful or interesting?
Everybody's different, right? Every market is different, so we are running a wide variety of programs, whatever makes sense in the given market. But I know most of the houses have bought a barrel, a single barrel, I believe it is, and I'm sure they're going to be using that as sales incentives and ways to motivate our own associates. I can tell you, I'd like one of those bottles somewhere. I'm asking.
I think we can arrange that.
Because I think it's great. I mean, to be a part of something this big and to have something that you can keep forever as signifying success in this, I think that's really cool. And I think that'll really get a lot of mileage with our people.
Greg, if you were going to get into a car tomorrow morning to work with a Chalmers Sunbelt manager and sales rep to work on the 5 and 15 program, what would you say to kick off the day?
Yeah, I think it's really simple. I'd say, do you have any idea how privileged you are to sell this brand? This is the most amazing brand in our industry. There really isn't another one like it. So let's take advantage of the day. Let's go tell the story. Let's be proud of what we're talking about, because this brand stands alone, and let's make this thing happen, and let's do it in every single account.
Greg, thanks for spending some time with me here today. Are there any comments in closing that you'd like to make?
I was thinking, it was interesting. I was thinking about, you look at brands, you talked about the craft thing earlier, and you look at brands and what's happening in the beer business, and you look at big brands like Budweiser and Miller, and they're struggling, right? They're struggling because the craft brands are nipping at them and taking a chunk out of them. And some people might want to ask that question about Jack Daniels. So does Jack Daniels suffer, or will it suffer from that same kind of erosion potentially from brands? I'll tell you why it won't. There is a significant difference in the taste and the production methods of Budweiser and Miller and craft beer. If you taste those two things side by side, they are so different that there's a clear differentiation for the consumer. If you look at Jack Daniels and all the craft whiskeys that are made out there, remember, a lot of those are being bought and blended. They aren't making those whiskeys. And that's not a bad thing. Blending is a very important thing. But if you look at the craftsmanship behind this product, Jack Daniels, it's been made the same way since the day it was invented, in the same place, and it is every bit as good as any other craft whiskeys that's out there. If you did a taste test side by side, Jack Daniels is going to win most of those taste tests. That's a big difference between the beer business and this business. And we need to remember that every time we go out there. And so if our people are excited about this program and they take pride in it and they leave no stone unturned in any account they're in every single day, we're going to do our part. We will, Chalmers Sunbelt, as the leading distributor for BrownForman in the world, we are their largest trading partner in the world, we will over-deliver our piece of that 5 million cases, and I'm excited about it.